Have you ever had that moment, maybe while checking your account balances or reading the latest news, where you stop and think, am I still investing the right way at this age? If so, you're not alone. The truth is, hitting your 70s doesn't just mean more birthday candles, it means your money needs to start working in a different way. But here's the problem. Most people don't get the memo. They keep investing like they're still in their 50s, chasing high returns, taking unnecessary risks, or worse, doing nothing at all and just hoping for the best. And that approach, it quietly chips away at the retirement security they spent decades building. So let's change that today. If you're in your 70s or getting close, this video is just for you. We're going to walk through some smart, often overlooked investing moves that can help you not only protect what you've built, but actually get more out of it. We're talking about real strategies that can reduce your taxes, give you more consistent income, and help you feel more in control without needing a finance degree to understand them. Because let's be honest, investing at this stage isn't about chasing the next big win. It's about peace of mind, it's about knowing your money will last, and it's about making sure that when you look at your finances, you feel steady, not stressed. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with clear, actionable ideas that most folks in their 70s never even hear about. These aren't risky tricks or one-size-fits-all formulas. They're thoughtful adjustments grounded in what actually works for real people in retirement. And if you find this helpful, if it gives you even one thing to take action on, I'd be so grateful if you gave it a like, subscribe to our channel, Vibrant Elders, and maybe even dropped a comment below. Tell us what your biggest investing question is right now. You never know, your voice might be just what another viewer needed to hear today. Now, let's dive into the first move, because once you hit your 70s, it's not about building your mountain anymore. It's about making sure you can enjoy the view without slipping on the way down. Number 1. Shift focus from growth to preservation. Let's start with a shift that surprises a lot of folks. Once you hit your 70s, it's time to change your mindset from how much more can I grow to how can I protect what I've built and let it pay me back. Now, I get it. For decades, the message was always about growth. Invest for the long term. Ride the ups and downs, build that nest egg, and if you followed that advice, chances are you've done pretty well. But here's the thing, the game changes in retirement, especially in your 70s, see, when you're no longer earning a regular paycheck. The money you've saved isn't just savings anymore, it's income. It's what helps you pay the bills, enjoy life, cover healthcare, and maybe spoil the grandkids a little. And the last thing you want is for that money to take a sudden hit right when you need it most. There's actually a name for this. It's called sequence of returns risk. It means that if the market drops early in your retirement while you're withdrawing money, it can do way more damage than if that same drop happened later. And sadly, most people don't realize this until it's too late. That's why now is the time to rebalance. Instead of chasing big returns, focus on stability and income. For example, a lot of retirees start leaning more into dividend-paying stocks, U.S. Treasury bonds, CD ladders, or even fixed annuities. These aren't flashy, but they're steady, and at this stage, steady is powerful. Here's a simple way to think about it. You've climbed the mountain. The hard part's over, now you're coming down, and it's all about keeping your footing. You wouldn't sprint downhill, right? You'd take your time, watch your steps, and make sure you enjoy the view. So if you haven't already, take a fresh look at your portfolio. Ask yourself, is this built for growth or for peace of mind? Does it protect me from the unexpected? And most importantly, does it pay me to enjoy my life now? You don't have to abandon growth entirely, but it shouldn't be driving the car anymore. In your 70s, preservation and income are your best co-pilots. Number 2, start required minimum distributions, RMDs, smartly. Now let's talk about something that catches a lot of people off guard, required minimum distributions, or RMDs. If you've got a traditional IRA, 401k, or similar retirement account, the IRS is about to get involved, whether you're ready or not. Once you turn 73, Uncle Sam expects you to start pulling money out of those tax-deferred accounts. Why? Because you've had the luxury of growing that money without paying taxes on it for years, and now the government wants its cut. Here's the kicker. Even if you don't need that money, maybe your Social Security is covering your expenses. or you've got other savings, you still have to take that RMD if you don't. You could get hit with a 25% penalty on the amount you were supposed to withdraw. That's not just a slap on the wrist, that's thousands of dollars lost. Let's make it real for a second. Imagine Joe. He's 73, has $500,000 in his IR, and his first RMD comes out to about $19,000. That $19,000 is now counted as taxable income even if he just lets it sit in his savings account. And if Joe forgets or delays, that's nearly $5,000 in penalties. Ouch. So what can you do? First, make sure you know when your RMD starts and how much it will be. There are calculators online, or better yet, check with your financial advisor. The number is based on your account balance at the end of the previous year and your age. Using IRS life expectancy tables. Second, be strategic. If you have multiple IRAs, you can calculate the total RMD across all of them and withdraw it from just one. That gives you some flexibility. With 401 KS, though, you usually have to take it from each account separately. And here's a pro tip: don't wait until December to take it. Spreading withdrawals throughout the year can help manage your tax brackets and reduce the stress of pulling a big chunk out all at once. RMDs aren't just a rule, they're an opportunity, a chance to look at your overall retirement income plan and adjust for taxes, timing, and what you actually want to do with that money. Maybe it covers travel, maybe it helps with healthcare, or maybe you reinvest it somewhere smarter. The key is to be proactive, not reactive, because when it comes to RMDs, the IRS isn't playing, and neither should you. Number 3, use Roth conversions strategically. A lot of folks in their 70s think the time for tax planning is over, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, this might be one of the smartest decades to take a second look at your tax strategy, especially if you've got a traditional IRA or 401k. Here's something most people don't realize. The money sitting in those accounts hasn't been taxed yet. And when you withdraw it, whether it's for spending or to meet your required minimum distributions, that money shows up as income, which means it could bump you into a higher tax bracket or impact things like your Medicare premiums. One powerful move: Roth conversions. In simple terms, you're moving money from your traditional IRA into a Roth IR and paying the tax now while you're in control. The benefit: once it's in the Roth, that money grows tax-free, and you'll never pay tax on it again. Plus, Roth IRAs aren't subject to RMDs, so you're giving yourself more flexibility in the years ahead. Imagine converting $30,000 this year. Yes, you'll pay income tax on that amount now, but that money will never be taxed again, and if you don't end up needing it, it can pass to your kids or grandkids completely tax-free. Timing is everything here. If you're in a lower income year, maybe you haven't started Social Security yet, or your RMDs haven't kicked in, this could be a golden window to convert a chunk at a lower tax rate. Keep in mind, you don't have to convert everything at once. Many retirees spread it out over several years to avoid jumping tax brackets. The goal isn't to pay more tax, it's to pay tax on your terms, not the IRS's. If you're not sure where to start, it's worth talking to a tax advisor or retirement planner. They can help you run the numbers and see how a few smart conversions could save you thousands over the next decade. Bottom line, this isn't just about taxes. It's about control, about building a retirement plan that works for you, not one that's built around government deadlines and tax rules. Number 4, rebalance your portfolio annually after spending decades building your retirement savings. It's easy to fall into a set it and forget it mindset. But here's the truth, even a well-built portfolio doesn't stay balanced on its own. And without checking in, things can drift way off course, quietly increasing your risk when you least expect it. Picture this: a few years ago, you decided on a 60-40 mix, 60% stocks for growth, 40% bonds for stability, but the stock market had a couple of strong years, and now that mix is closer to 70-30. That might not sound dramatic, but it means you're now exposed to a lot more volatility than you originally planned for. This kind of drift happens gradually. And that's why rebalancing once a year is one of the smartest habits you can build in your 70s. It's like a gentle reset button. You're not trying to time the market, you're simply bringing things back in line with your comfort level and goals. There's a helpful metaphor here. Think of your investments like a garden. If you don't prune the overgrown branches, they start to take over. Rebalancing is how you keep everything growing in the right direction. Without letting one area overpower the rest, there are a couple of ways to approach this. If you're working with a financial advisor, they'll usually guide you through the process. But even if you're doing things yourself, many online brokerages like Fidelity or Vanguard offer free tools that suggest when and how to rebalance. Some robo-advisors even do it automatically. It doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe you sell a little bit of your overperforming stock fund and move that money into bonds, CDs, or even a short-term income fund. Small adjustments like these help protect your portfolio from getting top-heavy. One more thing to consider: your risk tolerance may have changed. What felt comfortable in your 60s might feel different now, and that's completely normal. Rebalancing is also a chance to revisit your priorities. Are you more focused on steady income, on legacy planning, or simply on sleeping better at night? This isn't about making big moves. It's about small, steady corrections that help your money stay aligned with your life. And in your 70s, that alignment is worth everything. Number 5. Delay or optimize Social Security withdrawals. For many people, Social Security feels like a finish line. You turn 62 and boom, the checks start rolling in. But here's something worth thinking about. Just because you can start collecting early doesn't mean you should. In fact, holding off for a few more years could be one of the most valuable financial decisions you make in your 70s. Every year, you delay taking Social Security past your full retirement age, usually between 66 and 67, your benefit grows by about 8%. That's not a small bump by the time you hit age 70. Your monthly check could be up to 32% higher than if you had taken it early, and that increase? It's permanent, so the question becomes, can you afford to wait? For some folks, the answer is yes, especially if you have other sources of income, like savings, a pension, or part-time work. Even delaying by just a year or two can give you a meaningful boost that adds up over time. And for couples, there's even more to consider. Your decision affects not just your benefit, but potentially your spouse's survivor benefits too. If the higher earner delays Social Security, the surviving spouse could receive a significantly larger check if something happens down the road. Let's look at an example. Say Linda decides to wait until 70. Her monthly benefit at that age is $2,600, compared to $1,900 at 66. That's $700 more every single month for the rest of her life. Over 10 years, that's over $80,000 in additional income. But what if you can't or don't want to wait? There are still ways to be strategic. You might consider using savings to bridge the gap, covering expenses for a few years so you can delay benefits. Or maybe you take one spouse's benefit early and delay the others. There's no one-size-fits-all solution, but there are options, and that's what matters. The biggest mistake: treating Social Security like a rush job. You only get to claim it once, and the timing can shape your financial picture for decades. Take the time to run the numbers or sit down with someone who can help, because sometimes the best way's in. Retirement isn't from the market, it's from your own patience. Number 6, set up a health savings and long-term care plan. Here's a topic that's easy to put off until it becomes urgent: healthcare planning. Most of us assume Medicare has us covered, and to be fair, it does take care of a lot, but it doesn't cover everything. And it definitely doesn't cover long-term care. That's where many retirees get caught off guard. Let me tell you about Jim and Diana, an active, retired couple in their 70s. Jim had always assumed Medicare would handle anything that came up. Then Diane had a fall. It wasn't dramatic, but it was enough that she needed daily help getting dressed, preparing meals, and getting around. Suddenly, they were faced with the cost of in-home care, nearly $5,000 a month, and none of it was covered by Medicare. That moment hit them like a freight train, and unfortunately, they're not alone. According to AARP, the average cost for a private room in a nursing home is over $100,000 a year. Assisted living, around $60,000. And most families don't realize this until they're in the thick of it. So what can you do now before something happens? First, have the conversation. Talk with your spouse, your adult children, or even a trusted friend. What are your preferences if care is ever needed? Would you want to stay at home, move in with family, explore assisted living? Second, take a look at your options. Some people explore long-term care insurance, though it can be pricey depending on when you buy it. Others decide to self-fund, setting aside a specific savings account or investment earmarked for future care. And some folks use hybrid life insurance policies that include long-term care riders. If you're still relatively healthy, it might also be worth looking into a health savings account, HSA, if you had one from your working years. Even though you can't contribute after starting Medicare, the money you already saved can be used tax-free for qualified medical expenses. What matters most is being intentional. No one likes thinking about worst-case scenarios. But when you've planned ahead, those scenarios become less frightening, far less chaotic for your family. The goal isn't to predict the future. It's to give yourself options and peace of mind, because when health challenges show up, and for most of us, they eventually will, it helps to know that your money and your wishes are already working hand in hand. Number 7, review and update beneficiaries and estate plan. There's something most people don't realize about estate planning. It's not about how much money you have. It's about making sure what you do have ends up exactly where you want it, with as little hassle, cost, or confusion as possible. And here's the surprising part. You can have a beautifully written will or trust, but if your beneficiary designations on things like IRAs, 401, KS, or life insurance policies are outdated, that will mean almost nothing. Let's say you named your ex-spouse as the beneficiary of your IRA 20 years ago, then life moved on, you remarried, had grandkids, maybe downsized into a new home, but if you never changed that paperwork, that money still goes to your ex. Seriously, beneficiary forms override wills. That one detail has caused a lot of heartbreak and a lot of expensive legal battles. So here's what's worth doing, especially in your 70s. Review every account. You own your bank accounts, investment accounts, retirement accounts. Insurance policies check who's listed as a beneficiary. Make sure it reflects your current wishes. If someone has passed away, if your family dynamics have changed, or if you just want to make an adjustment, it's your right to update it. And while you're at it, don't forget about your estate documents. If it's been more than 5 years since you created your will, it's time for a refresh. Life evolves. So should your plan, another crucial piece. Your powers of attorney. That includes a medical power of attorney, someone who can make healthcare decisions if you're unable, and a financial power of attorney to handle money matters on your behalf. These roles aren't just legal formalities. They're lifelines when things go sideways. Even if everything seems in order today, circumstances can change fast. That's why a once-a-year estate checkup is a good habit to build, just like a doctor visit or tax filing. Think of it this way. You spent a lifetime building something meaningful. This step ensures your legacy moves forward the way you intended, with clarity, not chaos. And no, it's not about dwelling on the end. It's about giving the people you love a gift of certainty at a time when they'll need it most. If you've made it this far, I want to say something clearly. You're doing something most people never take the time to do. You're not just hoping your retirement works out, you're learning how to make it work better, smarter, and with more peace of mind. And that's what these investing moves in your 70s are really all about. It's not about being perfect. It's not about chasing every opportunity. It's about stepping back, looking at the big picture, and asking, is my money truly supporting the life I want to live now and the legacy I want to leave later? Maybe you're already doing a few of these things. Maybe some of it feels brand new. Either way, here's the good news. It's never too late to adjust, whether it's shifting towards safer income, getting strategic with RMDs, or simply updating a forgotten beneficiary form. Each step you take now puts more power in your hands. Not the government's, not the markets, and definitely not by chance. And it's not just about numbers in an account. It's about how those numbers translate into real life, into memories, into freedom, into quiet confidence that your finances are not just surviving, but serving you day by day. So if any of this resonated with you, if a light bulb went off, or even if you wrote something down to follow up on, do one thing this week. Pick just one move and take action. Make that phone call, check that account, or talk to someone you trust. And if this video helped in any way, I'd be honored if you gave it a like, subscribe to our channel, Vibrant Elders, and maybe even shared a thought down in the comments. What's one money move you wish you'd made sooner or one you're glad you didn't miss? Because the truth is, there's a whole community of folks just like you, smart, thoughtful, experienced, and still learning every day how to navigate this stage of life with strength and purpose. Retirement isn't the end of your financial story. In many ways, it's the part where you get to write it your way. So stand tall in that, protect what matters, and remember, your wisdom, your choices, and your money still have work to do and a life to support. Here's to making every step count and to doing it with heart.